to AI Revolution Digest, where businesses get smarter. I'm Jesslyn.
And I'm Elias. Together, we show you how AI drives real results.
And because the future isn't waiting, let's dive right in. Are you a tech startup? And if you are, one of the first things you're looking for is where the hell am I gonna get money? One of the things you're gonna be looking at is a VC. And now let's welcome our VC director for today's episode, Sir Gordon Lawson. Sir, thank you for being here. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Thanks so much. Pleasure to be with you all today. I recently started my own venture capital firm after about a decade in cybersecurity, but the firm is called Stirling Venture Capital. We're based in South Carolina. You know, for me, after spending time as an operator in multiple different cyber businesses, I have really, I think, understood some of the needs that companies have for raising capital, but also understood that there's just various requirements that venture capital needs before they decide to commit capital. And so, really trying to help bridge that is our focus. As I mentioned, the firm is based in South Carolina. We focus on investments in the Five Eyes countries. So those are UK, Canada, US, Australia, and New Zealand. And obviously, there's a long history there in terms of alliances and military cooperation, diplomatic cooperation. But those are just areas where I have some great contacts, and I think that geopolitically right now, those are important areas where we need to invest in good technologies, including cyber technologies. So that was really the genesis for me of starting the fund.
Thank you. So you touched on a very important point about geopolitics, and there's a lot of geopolitical tensions nowadays.
Mhm.
So how should tech startups deal with this, knowing that the U.S. is saying that we're going to crack down more in the regulatory. You cannot sell chips to, let's say, China.
Yeah.
You is the same. So if you're a tech startup, what should you do?
Well, the first thing is governments are going to do what governments are going to do. But I think the most important thing for a tech startup is, depending on where they're based, obviously you need to follow the rules of the country you're based in. And I think it's also important you have to do business with trustworthy folks. But in a tech startup world, you need to add customers quickly and grow your annual recurring revenue quickly. And so, I think some of that stuff can tend to be a little bit of noise. You got to pay attention to it and be educated on it. But the most important thing is making sure you have great product market fit with your technology, and having a very efficient go to market engine. And I think the efficiency is another thing that I'd love to discuss. Is the last couple of years have been, I think, tough for VC and for investment. I think it's getting a little bit better as we go into 2025 here. But it's really critical to run a capital efficient business if you're the CEO of a startup. I was on with a gentleman yesterday. He's $3 million ARR business. He's already profitable, and there's those tend to be pretty rare. And so he's in kind of the driver's position now, because he can decide how much capital he wants to raise. He doesn't need to raise any if the terms aren't right. But I think it's really for me refreshing to find companies like that are operating in those efficient models, that are still growing. But you kind of know on this side of the fence as an investor, you love a company like that because you know that the proceeds are going to be used very efficiently.
Thank you very much, sir. Would you say that from the founder's point of view, there are red flags? Some investor could be red flags to them, and why?
Well, I think it goes both ways. So investors get red flags and founders get red flags in the VCs. One of the things that I think is really critical is making sure that you're talking to a investor or a VC who is at the right stage. There's seed VC firms. There's Series A folks. Sometimes, usually, those are kind of on the same lines. Then there's growth equity, where you have to be at $8 to $10 million of ARR before they even want to take a look at you. And so some people think that, oh, I'm going to have one or two calls and I'm going to find the perfect investor. Just like in sales, you may have to have hundreds of calls, or certainly dozens, before you find the right investor. So I would encourage folks, don't get discouraged. Continue to work on your business and grow your ARR, but don't underestimate the importance of networking and really making sure that folks know about your brand. And you don't have to you can do that on things like LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be super expensive to get the brand out there, but you as a founder, as an operator in a business, you want to create some buzz around the technology you're marketing.
And you talk about, as a startup, one of the most things you want to look at is scaling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, as a former CEO of a cybersecurity company, what would you say are the most overlooked vulnerabilities that tech startups face?
Well, cash burn is certainly one of those. Sometimes you think you get maybe a seed round or a Series A, and you go too fast, right? I think you need to always think about extending your runway as much as possible, and just being very judicious with the use of that cash. I mean, that's just one thing that I've experienced. I've seen it, and it's a potential vulnerability for sure if you don't get your arms around it. The other one I would say also is thinking things may happen quicker than they do. I mean, you can get some quick hits, especially if you're maybe selling to small, medium businesses. We did a lot of work with MSPs at Conceal. Those can move pretty quickly. But when you're trying to do six-figure deals into bigger enterprises, you're talking 6 to 9 months plus. And so, that goes back to that cash burn question. You have to make sure that you are building that in and understanding, depending on what sort of ideal customer profile you're going after, that it might be more expensive and take longer to get to revenue with certain types of customers.
Is there any sector or technologies that you believe hold a transformative potential for startups?
That's a great question. So, I think that obviously AI is really, really interesting right now, and being able to harness that is very interesting. I was just an example. I was actually building a website for my new firm, and I was really, and this is just one of the search engine sites. They were clearly using AI to populate the components of the site. It's like, and that's new. I mean, that's new from the last year that they've incorporated that. So what that's doing is transforming a lot of service industries. Instead of hiring someone to maybe build the site, with content, the content's already there, and maybe you're the individual contributor who you hire as a consultant has less hours to charge because they're not having to do as much work. And so I think that it's going to be very transformative to lawyers, to accountants, to some of these industries that require expertise. They're still going to have to provide oversight, but some of that core work is going to be more and more automated. And so I think that will definitely be a part of it. We're already seeing it, certainly the use of AI in cybersecurity. Some interesting companies, Sublime is a company I saw just got funded, does email protection, AI-based, $60 million Series B yesterday. So that's going to continue to be an important part of how you defend against cyber threats, especially since the bad guys are using AI to be able to target people more effectively. So that's one area that I think I know a lot of folks are paying attention to, but will continue to be a key piece of the investment thesis for our firm and for lots of other firms.
Thank you for that. And it's really funny that you said that you saw like a website that was created entirely by AI, because when I was in university, well, I am still now in my second year, our professor really gave us this website that would automatically create a website for you, and everything is AI generated. So it's very interesting. And one of the things that I would want to ask is, a lot of investors would say that the team is more critical than the product itself. So what characteristics or experiences do you prioritize in the founding team?
Yeah. Well, I think that startup life is hard, first of all, right? It's long hours, you're wearing multiple hats. It's stressful, especially when you don't know if you can make payroll or those sorts of things. So I think the resiliency is really, really important in the team. And also I think that there has to be a certain level of humility that's really important. Is I don't know all the answers. I need to go to ask people for help. And I think the best investors are always willing to provide help on these things for a founder or for an operating team. So those would probably be the two things that I think are the most important.
Okay, well, thank you, Professor. So right now we're reaching to the end of the interview already. So we're proposing to play the little game Justin talked to you about. So Justin, whenever you're ready, and
Yeah,
Professor, whenever you're ready.
I just want to ask one question before
Oh, okay, okay,
Please.
go.
we do
And by
because
the way, you guys are very kind to call me professor. I think I've taught like 4 classes at the university, so it's very honorific to put that
very
on.
fitting.
Thank you.
I think you should be a professor now, knowing you with your. So I just, like when you went, so to our listeners, he was a guest speaker in one of my classes. And when Gordon went in, he looked like a special ops guy when when you see him. I was like, oh no, he's like
I
a
was
special.
just a normal naval officer, Jesselyn, just a normal naval officer.
Yeah. So one of my question is, you used to be from the Navy, right? You're a
Mm-hmm.
Navy veteran. So, and you talk a lot about resilience and leadership. So, from your experience as a Navy, what can you share to our startup founders, especially in how to survive high pressure situations?
Yeah, I mean, hey, and I always try and bring some humility to this. I think that this is an evolving thing, and I'm certain that there's times in my life when I haven't handled high pressure as well as I should have. But I think that I go back to you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, and that's the same thing in the military. You have things can be really hard, and things can be nice, and you're on liberty in Singapore or whatever, right? There's days where days differ. Um, so what I say is that you just have to have, no matter what happens in a certain day, you stay the course, you ensure that you're making the best decisions you can, you ask people for help even when your emotions are telling you maybe you're tired or you're frustrated. I think keep working the process. And like my process, I'll share this with you guys. My process now is I want to find one good investor a day and one good company every day to invest in. So, I feel like, and that doesn't always happen, right? It's hard, but I think putting in the effort here to try and uh, meet those objectives tends to bring some stability, and so you can really work through the ups and downs a little more effectively.
Thank you for that. And now, after a very serious talk, we can now play
Yeah.
a game.
Okay. Great.
So this is a game. It's just yes or no. Under 1 minute, it's just yes or no
Okay.
questions. So when you're ready, Alice is gonna start the clock. Then we're gonna go. Okay, we're ready. First question: can soup be a main course?
Yes.
Is it okay not to like Taylor Swift? You have a daughter, by the way. Just
Yes. It's okay.
it's okay. Can brunch replace breakfast and lunch forever?
Yes.
Should dogs be allowed at weddings?
Yes.
Is regifting birthday presents ever acceptable?
Maybe.
You do this? No, sir. It's a yes or no. There's
I would
no-
say no. No.
okay. Should you clap when the plane lands?
Yes.
Okay. Are adult sleepovers underrated?
Yes.
Is eating popcorn with a spoon weird?
Yes.
Should silent disco headphones be the future of parties?
I don't even know what those are, so I'm probably not the best to answer that.
Okay. Can you trust people who don't like cheese?
Yes.
Should you
Time's up.
okay, time's up. Oh
Oh my
no.
gosh, where do you all get these questions?
ChatGPT. I just went
That's
to ChatGPT
hilarious.
and said, okay, I have a guest speaker. I want funny yes or no weird questions. And
Nice.
so thank you, sir, for being here. Before we go, is there something you want to promote? Where can people follow you?
Well, I just love to promote the University of South Carolina, #1 business school, international business school in the country. And I know you all are both there. And I'm just, always honored to be part of their ecosystem, to talk to the classes. And I think you all made a great choice. And I hope you all have very happy holidays. I know you've just finished your exams today. So happy holidays and a happy 2025.
Thank you, sir. And before we leave, a lot of my followers are looking for internships. I think most of our guest speakers have any interns looking at.
Yeah. Always happy to talk to folks who want to learn more about venture capital, and if not, I can also help with introductions to cybersecurity companies. So yeah, please reach out. www.stirlingvc.com, and love to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Now, thank you everyone for listening, and see you in our next episode. Goodbye.